Hello, my name is Tracy Allen and I want to welcome you to Cooking with Some Friends. Hello, and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. We're getting lunch ready. Noah's running my camera for me. He's my cameraman. And in the background, you can see my other helpers. Jake's cutting up the ham for what we're making for lunch, and Katie's peeling and cutting up some peaches that we're going to have along with it too. But we're going to make a recipe called straw and hay. And straw and hay is a dish that actually my oldest granddaughter had asked me if I'd ever had it, that a friend of hers, her mother makes it, and so it's one of her favorites. So I told her I would find a recipe, adjust it, and we would have straw and hay. And I have made some adjustments. So anyway, I'm gonna show you how to do that. I have a pot boiling on the back burner. It's for the pasta we're gonna use, and usually with it being straw and hay, you use different colors of pasta. You can use those made with spinach to give it the green color, and then the egg noodles to give it. But I'm just using regular white egg noodles because we like those in this dish. So yeah, and Noah likes pasta. So I'm doubling the recipe because there are so many of us. Don't move the thing, hon. Because there are so many of us. So the original recipe calls for 5 tablespoons of butter that you're gonna melt in your pan, and then add some chopped onion and saute that. And to that, now that mine my onions are tender, I'm going to add the flour. And it originally calls for the flour, for the thickening, 1 to 2 tablespoons. But since I've doubled, I'm going to do 2 to probably, there's 3. Let's see how that works for us. So this is making a roux that will be the thickener for our sauce. So that will partially depend on how thick you like the sauce. And Noah will really like this because it makes like an Alfredo sauce. And he likes Alfredo.
Well, I would really love you to use real Alfredo.
Yeah, you like me to use the canned stuff, or the stuff in a jar?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I like it that way.
Okay, so then to that, once it has a minute to cook, so we don't get a flour taste, I'm going to add 3 cups of heavy cream.
Got some on the spoon.
That is a lot of cream, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, and as soon as that has a chance to incorporate and start to thicken up just a little bit, I can go ahead and add all my other ingredients except for my pasta because it's not cooked yet. So to it, I'm going to add some salt and pepper just to taste.
I'm going to put tea.
And I'm going to add some minced garlic. And I'm going to go ahead and add what's left in my container because it's about empty.
Yep.
And then I need 2 teaspoons of basil. And 1/4 of a teaspoon of nutmeg. Katie, that is recording, isn't it? Okay. My water's boiling. Nope. Yeah. Okay. And then I'm gonna add a cup of shredded Parmesan, not the grated Parmesan, but shredded. This piece of paper or something there. Is the ham ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I need some Italian blend cheese.
I'm assuming that it's enough ham.
I didn't hear you.
So I'm assuming that's enough ham.
Yep.
I can cut it more if you need it.
And it calls for the Italian blend cheese. It calls for half a cup, but again, we're doubling, so I'm gonna pour in. And then it calls for a half a cup of chicken broth. So that's everything that goes in our sauce, except for the peas that I'm gonna put in a minute, and the ham that Jacob julienned for us. And you'll need some frozen peas, and it will take about 2 cups of those. And we have our home frozen, so right out of our garden, but I have to bang it.
It scared me.
Did it scare you, make you jump?
Yeah.
Okay.
I felt like the peas were gonna jump on my face.
Okay, so we're gonna let that simmer for just a little while to thicken up, and then add our ham and our pasta, and we'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, so our pasta is done and it's in the sauce. I'm gonna stir it in here in a second. We do have a bowl reserved for Noah because he's a picky eater and he just wants butter on his pasta. So I'm gonna stir this in and then let it simmer just for a minute or two, and then we're ready to eat. That's all there is to straw and hay. Hello and welcome to Cooking with Some Friends. I had found a recipe a long time ago that was for Marry Me Chicken, and they said that it was called that because after you ate it, whoever you served it to would want to marry you. I don't think that's necessarily true, but anyway, I found one that I kind of liked, but then I had to do some adjusting to make it so it was more of what we like. So I'm going to show you that recipe for Marry Me Chicken, and it says it serves 4. But it actually will serve closer to 6, or you'll have leftovers that you can actually eat later. So I'm going to start with 4 chicken breasts, and you can use chicken thighs if you like them, or a combination of those. And I have pounded those out thin to be thin. I put them between layers of plastic wrap, and then use my meat mallet to pound those thin. Now you don't want to go too crazy. You still want some body to them. But then I'm just going to take a drizzle of olive oil and spread that on each one, both sides. And then I want to salt and pepper each one. And then I'm going to dredge it in a little bit of flour. And over here I have my cast iron skillet. That is has about 3 tablespoons of olive oil in it, and that's what I'm going to cook this in when it gets hot. I also am going to put some Slap Your Mama, some Cajun seasoning on this, on each one, and you can do that before you dredge it or after you dredge it. It doesn't matter. Okay, and then I'm going to cook those on both sides for 4 to 5 minutes. And then I'll transfer those to the plate. So I'll come back and show you what it looks like when they're fried up. So the last of my 4 chicken breasts is in the cast iron skillet. I browned the others, they're under the foil. And I did, after I put the olive oil in and started cooking, I did go ahead and add about 3 to 4 tablespoons of butter to my frying pan as well, just to give it some more flavor, and because this is what the sauce will actually be made from. So I'm gonna put that there. I've got my heat just below medium. So now to this, I am going to add my chicken broth, and I have a cup of chicken broth. I'm gonna add 3 cloves of garlic. And I'm also going to put in a chicken bouillon cube. And I'm just gonna deglaze the pan with those, just to get any of those pieces of the chicken that are stuck to the bottom of the pan, and so we don't lose any of that flavor. You don't have to do this for long. So then once that chicken bouillon cube is dissolved, we'll move on to the next step. So the next step is where we're actually making the cream sauce. And the reason I put this whole thing in a cast iron skillet, you could do it in a regular skillet and just finish it on the stove. But I like to put it in the oven and let it finish there. And then when we're ready to eat it, I will, just before I'm ready to serve it, I will make some penne pasta and we'll serve this over that pasta. So I'm just waiting, like I said, for that chicken bouillon cube to dissolve. My oven is preheating. And I have, in my cup, I have about 1.25 cups of heavy whipping cream that I'm going to add to this. And I have a 1/2 cup of grated Parmesan that I'm also going to put in. Okay. I think we're ready for that. My cream. My Parmesan. You could use shredded Parmesan too, but I like to garnish with the shredded later. Okay. That's stirred in to make our cream sauce. Now, I have a few more spices that I like to add to this as well. Like I said, we have that Slap Your Mama that's going to give the chicken some extra flavor. But I also have some red pepper flakes. I have about a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. And I have a combination of Italian seasoning, some thyme, and some basil. I'm going to stir those in. We're just cooking this until it starts to thicken. Once that starts to thicken up a little bit, I'm going to add some sun-dried tomatoes to it. And you can go with what you like. I like to add about 1/3 of a cup of the sun-dried tomatoes that are julienned and in oil. I'm going to go ahead and add those now just so I don't have to wait later. But like I said, you can do as few or as many as you like. Use my fork here. Oven is ready. As soon as I am. This does thicken up really nicely. And if it gets a little too thick for you, you could always add a little more cream back in. But you want it to thicken up quite a bit. And it will thicken up some in the oven. But this is where you could go ahead and let it thicken completely on your stovetop, and then add your chicken and just let it marinate in that sauce for a while on a low heat. But when I put it in that 350-degree oven, I'm going to put it in there for about 15 or 20 minutes so that the flavors are all well blended. So then I will show it to you when it's completed. Thanks for joining us for this session of Cooking with Some Friends. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And find us on Facebook at Cooking with Some Friends.